Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Bog Panda. I am Dr. Mike, Artificial Pagan on everything, and joining me as always.
Hi, everybody. This is Kelly at KELLYTHUL on Twitter and Instagram. And we would greatly appreciate it if you would consider liking, subscribing, turning on those notifications, maybe dropping us a comment or two. And if you get a chance, check out still for Christmas or any future holiday our merchandise as well. It's good for all occasions.
Kelly, did you get me a Harbor Day gift from there?
Yes, I did. Because yes, this has been a huge miss of the many misses that we've done over the years, is the fact that we have not as warmly embraced being a strong Harbor Day supporter in the future, and that we there should be a December 1st, which is Harbor Day. We should have a December 1st show every year for Harbor Day, and we've had none to date. So
It's true. Maybe we should do so if things are a little more open next year. Maybe we should do like a live event for Harbor Day.
that would be excellent. And we did a comp all the harbor masters. So every year it's kind of the king of Harbor Day gets named. We comp them their rooms for wherever it would be. And so we would do all that. For those of you who are really scratching your head on this, I'll include a link to an article in a little publication called The New Yorker that describes what Harbor Day is, and the fact that someone on the show created it. And
Can you guess who?
can you guess who did that? Get you a little bit of background. If you see it, read the article. If you'd like to become, there's a fine private Facebook group available for Harbor Day that's in need of new members. And so if you take a look at it, want to just throw a message in the comments to say, hey, I'm this on Facebook, or hit me up on Facebook, Kelly Tool, THUL, and let me know you'd like to get an invite to the Harbor Day group. I'd be more than happy to get you included into the family.
And if you're looking to tip Kelly, we know his preferred currency is Atari tokens.
That's right.
And we're going to talk about a new Atari development here. Kelly, why don't you tell us what your corporate overlords are up to these days?
Yeah, well, obviously dominating the monetary system, and we're well on the road there. In my vault of Atari tokens that I bathe in every night. But in addition to that, they want to, part of the idea is to take this so-called money, this money today that people use, out of circulation, remove it from people and take it away to eventually replace them all with Atari tokens. And so one of the current plans is the release of 3 limited edition actual game cartridges of 3 games that were planned for the Atari 2600 but never made it to market. And you can, for the low price of $49, you can get the cartridge to work on your, I'm sure everyone's got 2600s laying around their house available for use. Pop that cartridge in that bad boy, sure works just fine. And you can do that, or you can get a deluxe package for a mere additional $100 more, so $149, which will include a pen, a little pen you can wear, and a poster.
Worth it.
Yeah, and then I'm unclear on this. I don't know if you picked up on it. Is the digital version is going to be available whether you just buy the cartridge or the deluxe package, I believe, for the Atari.
Yeah, I believe so.
For the Atari VCS. So this was the other thing that Mike and we've talked about the Atari VCS before, and the fact saying it needs some kind of unique things to really kind of make it a compelling offering. And so this kind of sort of fits into that category, that these are 3 legendary or potential games that were out there that never got released, and you can get them either in cartridge form or playable on the VCS, which I think is actually kind of cool, because I got to imagine the market of people that have working Atari 2600s is shrinking significantly. So what did you think when you saw this offering, Mike?
So I am always intrigued that there's so many indie game companies and homebrew developers who have been putting out new games for classic systems, mostly in ROM form though. But there are ones that come out on cartridges and some even fully packaged. Some of those games are really incredible. One that I just recently stumbled across that I was playing totally legally was Micro Mages. That is for the original Nintendo. Super awesome, more recent game for that. So things like that are really cool that pop up, and I have been interested in checking some stuff out. So this caught my attention, and of course the tie into the Atari VCS because we have been saying that it kind of needs a hook.
Yeah, it does. So I'm going to try, and I've been trying actually. So unearth. So I come from modest means, so my family was not able to shell out the money for official Atari 2600. So we got the Sears version of the 2600, but still played the games, but just wasn't 2600. But unearthed that the other day and said, I need to see if this thing still works. And I'm unclear whether it works because I had forgotten. So the video part that comes out the back, I go, oh yeah, I'll just be able to plug that into the video port on my TV that was made 30 years after the Atari, and everything will be fine. And I had really forgotten the whole thing. Was like, no, that needs to go, typically connected to a TV that went into this kind of ceramic cylinder that kind of forked out into two things that you attach to the antenna. And that was the way the video signal made its way, and the audio signal made its way to your television. It's actually called an F cable, is the name of the cable that comes out of the Atari. And fortunately, there's one vintage-esque TV we have that doesn't have the little antenna screws anymore, but it does actually have a port on the back for an F cable. So I'm going to be plugging that in to see, because I'm very unclear still if this system works, but I've that what I do know is plugging into the current day video port is not a workable option. So it goes.
Also, if Atari ever wanted to corner the adult film market, F Cable is a great title to start with.
There you go. There's probably an X-rated Atari game called F Cable. So.
It's true.
Probably available on Super Console X.
Yeah. And I have already pitched the idea to Kelly, and hopefully we'll move forward with this of doing like a Bog Panda After Dark segment. Maybe that'll be called Squad Cobbler.
Yeah. Yes, we can. Yeah, we'll have to figure out, because we want to kind of keep the Bog Panda brand pristine. So this is maybe a way that Squat Cobbler can resurrect, and we can do that. But yeah, the After Dark episodes, we're still game planning that, workshopping it a little bit, see how that would all work out. But let us know in the comments if you'd like some After Dark.
You want to
creatively edited videos where we talk about adult games, particularly for the 2600, which is magic to me. Yeah,
the 2600 really went hard in that market.
Yeah, it. I mean, you're bound and determined to create some adult content if you're saying I can pull it off on a 2600. It's like, okay, see what you can do. So we'll see on that. But these look interesting. So it's I don't know if it's Return of Yars' Revenge or Yars Returns or whatever, but it's the sequel to Yars' Revenge that's available. I think it's called Yars Returns. And that looks pretty cool in terms of the, Yars' Revenge was one of the biggest 2600 titles out there. And instead of just kind of being attacked.
And I am a big Yars' Revenge fan.
Yep. And you're going to get that on your Mini if you ever get one. So just so you know. Sorry to bring that up. But where that one was always a frontal attack on it, this one actually brings also enemies from the sides as well to increase the excitement of the gameplay per the box instructions. Aqua Adventure seems to involve diving for treasure and eventually mermaids. So we got that going for you. And then Saboteur, which involves you being a robot called Hotot, I think is HOTOT, I believe is I'm going to go with Hotot. I don't know if it's hot or whatever, but I'm going to go with Hotot. That sounds more like a robot name. But you're battling evil, trying to disarm warheads and such. So they look like kind of pretty interesting games. If I were to explore them further, there is absolutely no way I'm going to consider the collector's edition. I'm not going to spend $150 for a Atari game, the 2600 game that didn't make the cut. That's just kind of where I'm at. But while it would be some interesting conversations with the executive committee that oversees all purchases, $50 cartridge actually kind of tracks with what the cartridge is used to run. So they've been kind of protected from inflation there. So I guess I can't complain much about the cartridge price.
And I mean, you already stockpiled enough Atari tokens that I'm sure you could just pick it up.
That's right. I think, simply with my Atari interest on my tokens, I should be able to do that.
With all the mini systems and stuff that have been coming out, one of my favorite ones was the Genesis Mini, because it had the benefit of not being the first or second out to market. Nintendo had already had a couple, and the Nintendo ones were great. Then Sony made a PlayStation Mini, and it was garbage. I paid $15 for mine. It's great for $15. But if you were one of the people who pre-ordered it and paid $130 or $140, I believe was the launch price of that, I'm sorry for you. Terrible selection of games, few classics on there, but lots of filler, mixed NTSC and PAL games. So some of the games just don't run right, things like that. So not great. So Genesis learned from their mistakes and what Nintendo did well. But one of the things that Genesis did was it put a couple of infamous rare games in there, knowing that it would, rile up the fan base and things like that. The one that was on that in particular was the Genesis version of Tetris. Now you can see by my Atari, my X Games Legends Mini back there, I'm a huge Tetris fan.
That's right. Plays it all the time.
But I am a Tetris fan. Not like some people out there. There's tons and tons of videos online of, Tetris championships and things like that, and just crazy stuff. Not like that. I like Tetris, not like that. The Genesis Tetris though is hilariously a game that Genesis Sega claimed didn't exist for years, even though there were a handful of copies floating around that were sent out as like demo copies. Sega would just blatantly go, that's not real. That doesn't it doesn't exist, in part because there was a giant lawsuit over the North American rights to Tetris between Atari and Nintendo, who both had different rights and were battling it out in court over Tetris, which was a Russian game, and it bore life in Russia. And there's a great documentary about that if you guys want to go check that. I know that seems like it'd be a boring feature-length documentary, but it's awesome about the history of Tetris. So one of the things that appealed to me about this, not only did the cartridge aspect of it seem interesting, but just like the Genesis Mini, the idea of these being sort of like rare games or lost games is very interesting to me.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the biggest allures of it, to kind of get in there and kind of have that it almost was there. And these weren't ones that were just shelved because the playability wasn't there. It was just a variety of other issues that kind of came up. Plus it was a time when maybe it wasn't the greatest adventure to move forward with Atari 2600 titles, but but it's still worth taking a look at. Yeah, so we'll include a link to that information. Let us know in the comments if one, you have a working Atari 2600. Two, if you know what an F cable is. Three, are you interested in, would you buy some of these cartridges? We'd like to know if there's kind of a market out for that. I mean, for the huge Atari fan, there's always that collectible piece, but it's just how much are you willing to shell out for collectability? I know 150 is not what I want to shell out for Atari collectability, even as an Atari token tycoon. Anything else for the show, Mike?
No, I think that about wraps it up, sir.
Okay. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.